Hi. I decided to come today instead of writing to you. I thought, I want to do a video. It's so nice outside. And I just wanted to, be a little bit more personal face to face, at least from my end. So I want to begin, just with the discussion and conversation around eating intuitively, eating mindfully, and really what is that? So one of my favorite quotes from, oh boy, I'm going to forget her name. Jan Boys, I think. It'll be above. Is mindful eating is a way to become reacquainted with the guidance of our inner nutritionist. Because the truth is that internally, we all have, the ability to connect with what it is our body needs to eat, which is why I don't like diets. Because diets work when you're on them, and then they stop working when you go off them. You have likely had that experience. And while I work with, food and trauma, quite honestly, I work a lot with teaching mindful and intuitive eating. And it's a really beautiful way to connect to the body. When we've experienced trauma, big T, little t's, we don't want to connect to our body. And what I'd like to do today is just kind of list some of the things that we do when we're not mindful eating, or what causes you to overeat. Many people may say, oh, I'm not an emotional eater, but I just can't seem to stop. So first we want to really get into a growth mindset. What is a growth mindset? More to come on that, but a growth mindset is one where we're open to change. We're open to not doing the same old. Like, if this diet doesn't work, I'm going to do a different diet. And it's the diet that helps us thinking, because that's a fixed mindset that the diet is going to fix it. Well, it is what we put in our mouth that's going to change the health of our body. It's not the diet itself that's going to create the change. If that makes any sense, feel free to comment back if it doesn't. But what I want to talk about is just a kind of a list, and I'll give you a little bit of an example around it. So when we struggle with the inability to stop overeating, I talk to women every day, and this is one of the things. It's a big complaint. It's like, I'm doing really well, I eat really healthy, I love healthy foods, I just can't seem to stop. Well, one is we might be eating trigger foods, and while we think that trigger foods would never be healthy foods, they might be. Something to explore. While most of us can understand chocolate or ice cream or chips, those might be real trigger foods that we can't stop eating. But what can happen is when we eat those trigger foods is it can cause us to eat more of other things. Now, there might be something healthy that also creates you have an emotional attachment to. Let's say you grew up in the garden with your grandmother eating strawberries, and when you start eating strawberries, you can't stop. And when you stop yourself, you have trouble stopping eating. It's just a really good thing to notice. No judgment. Just begin to notice, because that's the first way to create change. Now, another thing that can happen is we're not busy enough. Right? We don't feel like doing anything, and we might really be more tired than we are hungry. So we either need to go to bed or take a nap, get some rest, or maybe really consider what is going to offer me what I need versus just putting food in my mouth. Okay. Another is you might be on a diet, and it may be too extreme for your body. It may be too much, and then you get to a certain point, and it's just like, right? Like I do know. Sorry, this is my dog Finnegan. Say hello, Finnegan. Okay. Another piece of being able to stop eating is when you might have waited too long to eat. Now, some of us all have different blood sugar levels. Some need to eat more small meals per day. Some people need to eat 2 meals a day. It really depends on you. So there's nobody who is going to really know except you and that internal nutritionist, that internal heart. Remember that we eat nutritious foods so that we have a healthy body, but it's our body that really knows what to get from the food. So I talk more about that in programs that I work with you. We get into it a little bit deeper in ways to discover exactly what your body needs and how to create choice around that. But it's something to remember that no two people are alike. Now, another thing that might be is you might have some trigger foods in your cupboard, and maybe some more trigger foods, right? So when we have family, it can be really difficult, especially when we're raising children, to keep all trigger foods out of the house. That's something that I can also help you work around on a group basis or one-to-one, or just go to my Facebook page and make some comments, and I can certainly support you in that. I would say, though, there are ways around that if you have a family that, you've got kids particular, and there's foods that they eat that are trigger foods. And one is not to deprive anyone, but it's a good question, is why do we allow children to eat foods that are now trigger foods for us and that really are not a healthy choice? It's just a good question, right? And I'm guilty of it with my grandkids as much as I was with my children. So but I'm pondering that myself. So no judgment here, just thoughts. Another is we can use food as a reward. Many of us use food as a reward. We accomplish something. It's like, let's go celebrate. And you celebrate not with a healthy, shake or smoothie or a salad, or, if you're a meat eater, fish, or, lean chicken, or we celebrate with what? Cakes and cookies, or a really overly heavy, fatty meal. And then what happens when we do that? We feel crappy. We feel like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that, like doggone it. And then we're in a judgment place. And then we punish ourselves. And when we start to punish ourselves, we eat again because we don't want to feel the punishment. And that cycle is all self-created. Now, I'm not being hard on you, because most all of us do it to some degree. So there's no judgment here. It's awareness, because awareness is what creates mindfulness, and mindfulness is what creates intuitive eating. Intuitive eating is a little bit deeper than just being mindful, but I recommend beginning with mindful eating, and then we can begin to transfer into intuitive eating. Another thing that happens a lot for women, and if you're a man watching this, this might be good for you to watch, and it may be happening to you as well the other way around. But one thing that happens is, I know it's happened to me a boatload of times, and I hear it a lot from my clients, is the minute I decide I really want to eat healthy and I'm going to eat whole foods or whatever it is you're choosing, your partner goes out and comes home with the very things that you want to take off your list. Sugaries, especially sugar, because a lot of us will, eliminate sugar for a time anyway, and our partner will bring home our triggers. Pie, cookies, cakes, ice cream, you name it. And then you feel rude if you don't eat it, because they're showing you love. The question is are they? Are they showing you love? Are they supporting you in the way you need to be supported? And it doesn't mean you have to smash them or, be hard on them. It's a conversation to have, that this is a way that I need you to be supportive, and I know this is you're attempting to be, but I would prefer, I think you know how to talk to your partner. And last but not least is, we emotionally eat, but we also sometimes we allow our emotions to, they overcome us. And so what do? We don't know what to do with those emotions. So we eat. And eating puts us in the parasympathetic nervous system, and it takes us out of that emotional state, and we numb our emotions. And when we do that, and it shrinks, it shoves down, it goes into our intestines, and it really affects the health of your gut. So with all of these triggers for reasons why we overeat, I hope that they've been helpful for you. I am working on a program. Let me rephrase that. I have a program for 12 women. It's not quite full, so if there's a few of you who are interested in joining, the link is below, and I'd love to have you. Now, the other piece of that group, because it's summer and we all want to get out and enjoy, I have kind of a rolling group. So the start date can be rolling, and it won't have the positive intelligence piece in it. If you're interested in, coming to a group that is different than the one that you see listed below, please just shoot me an email or go on my Facebook page and let me know that, and I'll just reach out to you. There's no pressure. If you do that and you decide like, yeah, I don't want to do anything, it's okay. I love working with the men and women who come that are ready and really wanting to create change in their life. And now may be the perfect time, and it may not be. That's totally up to you. I'll describe a little bit the program. For those of you who aren't interested, have a beautiful, beautiful day and enjoy your week. For those of you who just want to hear a little bit more about it, I'll kind of go into a little bit about what's in that program. So again, it gets into the emotional eating and how hard we are on ourselves, all the things we talked about today, and we're stuck in this hand-to-mouth syndrome. So if you really want to break free from that and you want to get out of the lies and the myths of the diet industry, this is what we're going to be addressing. And we're going to be addressing it in conjunction with participating in Positive Intelligence. It's a 6-week course. It's a $1,000 course, and I'm going to put you in it. And so the price of this is very inexpensive compared to if you were just to take the course alone and be coached. And what will happen is I'll lead you, I'll be your guide in the Positive Intelligence course, and we'll meet together and go over that. But then we will blend it with intuitive eating. And so on Monday evenings, it's looking like at least the first rotation. On Monday evenings, we're going to cover the Positive Intelligence information for 20 to 30 minutes. And then the next hour, we're going to go over freedom from food and how it controls you and what to do instead. We're going to cover supercharging your metabolism and how to enjoy the foods that you love and avoid the exercise you hate. Who wants to do something that they hate to do? Right? It's that vicious cycle that we just, let's just stop the vicious cycle, get off and really get mindful and get real about where we are going with our health and our mental fitness goals, which is what the Positive Intelligence does. So this group is going to up-level your mental fitness in a whole new way. It's fantastic. And it's going to help you discover whole body wellness, your whole body wellness. No two of us were meant to look the same or be the same or even eat the same. So with that, I wish you a really beautiful next couple weeks. I'm sure I'll see you on Facebook or LinkedIn, Instagram. I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts. This is Bethany Perry with BethanyPerry.com. Have a beautiful day.